Have you ever heard the name the Vatican's Shadow Order? Don't worry if you haven't. That's exactly how they prefer it. Invisible, silent, ancient. And that's precisely why you need to hear this story through to the end. Because there are forces that operate behind the golden curtains of faith. Forces that don't kneel before the cross, but before power. If you want to understand what really happens behind the walls of the Vatican, you're in the right place. But be warned, there is a price for wanting to know too much. And after what you're about to hear, you may never look at the Vatican the same way again. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. Hit the bell. Because from this point on, we walk into the shadows. For centuries, the Vatican has been the spiritual heart of the Christian world. But every light casts a shadow. And beneath the illuminated stained glass and Baroque domes, there are corridors where the light does not reach. Hallways that aren't shown on maps. If you listen closely, even now, you might hear the echoes of a dead language. A whisper, Ordo Tenebris, the Order of Shadows. According to unconfirmed reports and quietly debated theories, this brotherhood may have emerged in the mid-13th century as a parallel group to the Inquisitors, not religious fanatics, but strategists. Men who understood that spiritual power was only one face of control. The oldest documents that mention the Shadow Order aren't easily accessible. Fragments hidden in private letters, notes scribbled in the margins of forgotten manuscripts, seals that mysteriously vanished from official records. In one of these texts, found among the belongings of a Vatican librarian who died suddenly in 1906, a secret ritual is described. It took place in a hidden chamber beneath the Apostolic Palace. The text says the initiate was required to renounce any previous vows of faith, not to God, but to the balance of power. A political faith, a belief in maintaining the papal throne at any cost. The ritual's content is disturbing. The blood of 3 cardinals was mixed with consecration wine and served in a black chalice. The chalice, in fact, appears repeatedly in ancient engravings, always held by a hooded figure with blank eyes. Those who drank from it, according to belief, would be bound forever to a collective consciousness, the soul of silence, an invisible psychic network that allowed the order's members to communicate without words, only through intent. Pure fiction or forgotten spiritual technology? The Chapel of Voices, described as the epicenter of the order's gatherings, is mentioned for the first time in a 1468 account written by a Benedictine monk. He had reportedly been assigned to clean a subterranean wing of the Vatican at night, but upon entering, heard a chant in ancient Latin, unlike any mass he had ever attended. The floor was marked with symbols he couldn't recognize, and the faces of those present were hidden beneath red hoods. He was removed from the assignment the next day and sent to a remote monastery in the Alps. His journal vanished for centuries until it resurfaced at a private auction in Prague. The order doesn't operate only through ritual. According to theories, it also has direct influence over papal elections. A supposed manuscript intercepted in the 19th century details a procedure called the Lot of Solomon, in which papal candidates had their souls weighed by a secret council even before the official voting. Those who showed doubt or intentions of drastic reform were quietly removed from the race, not with poison, not with threats, but with erasure. They simply disappeared from records, from votes, from the Church's collective memory. Some say that the resignation of the emeritus Pope in 2013 was a direct result of a disagreement with the order. No proof, only clues. But the timing, the choice of words, the behavior of the cardinals around him, everything reeks of negotiation. A deal made not in the pulpit, but in a locked room where time does not pass. An Italian priest who remained anonymous in a late 1990s interview claimed he had witnessed one of these secret meetings. He spoke of black robes, of a crest showing a serpent devouring its own tail, and of an oath in which the members said, "The light is a lie, the shadow is the memory of everything." That phrase appears again in a forgotten painting in the crypt of San Clemente, beneath Rome, beside a symbol strikingly similar to the one he described. Throughout the 20th century, several scholars attempted to investigate the phenomenon of the shadow order. Some got too close. In 1958, a Swiss historian published an article about a parallel government within the Church. The article was pulled from circulation in under 48 hours. The author never published again. In 1971, a team of British documentarians was granted permission to film behind the scenes of the Vatican. In just 2 days, they abandoned the project, claiming they were barred from certain areas for spiritual security reasons. Then came the internet, and with it, a new generation of seekers. Images began to surface. Corridors not listed on blueprints, cameras capturing hooded figures at times that should have been silent, documents leaking in inexplicable ways. One such image shows a stone room, 13 chairs arranged in a circle, all empty, except one. A lone figure sits motionless, facing a desk with an open book. The words in the book? Dominus Umbrae, Lord of Shadows. So now the question must be asked, why is all of this hidden? If it's a lie, why the rigorous silence? And if it's true, what exactly is being protected? What is the secret that the Order of Shadows guards so zealously? Some theorists suggest that the Order is not just a brotherhood of power, but a guardian of ancient knowledge, something that dates back to the beginning of the Church, or even earlier. A truth that could shake not just the foundations of Christianity, but the spiritual structure of the entire Western world. A code, a book, a name, something that, once revealed, can never be unsaid. Now ask yourself, if all this is true, do you really want to know? You are already among the few who made it this far. You've walked through the corridors of the unseen. You've heard what was never meant to be said. Now, share this journey. Leave your comment. Do you believe there's an order operating in the shadows of the Vatican? Have you come across any sign, a forgotten story, a symbol that made you question everything? Share it in the comments. Your testimony might be the missing piece. And remember, when something seems too sacred to be questioned, that may be where the real secret hides. Subscribe to Vaticano Occulto. Hit the bell. Share this video with someone you know is ready. Because the truth was never in the lights of the altar. It was always in the shadows.